Great. So that's the clip. I hope you enjoyed the clip and also the tune. You notice I was nodding my head to the rhythm of the song that was playing. All right. So the video just goes to explain in a nutshell. Of course, in animation, which is always very easy to understand. What OfficeAjo does and some of the benefits, which I will still be explaining in detail. Okay. So who exactly are we? We are a web application-based ROSCA, ROSCA standing for Rotating Credit and Savings Application, powered by an automated matching system that provides a JIT matching solution, which allows verified employees across different organizations to co-contribute and receive pool funds returns. So basically, I explained the concept of the Ajo, right? 5 guys, for instance, want to raise 1 million, each one drops 200,000, and then that goal is achieved. Now, what OfficeAjo does is that we spread it across different organizations. For instance, let's say you work in, I don't know, PiggyVest, I work in, I don't know, Amazon, someone else works in, I don't know, maybe Netflix. If those companies are onboarded on our OfficeAjo platform, of which we have a number of companies who have already signed up to what we have to offer, it allows the employees of all these organizations to be able to access other employees in other organizations also on the platform to do the amounts they want. Because, for instance, if it was just those in your company, you may want to do 3 million, someone else may want to do 5 million, someone else may want to do 2 million. And it may not be enough people to satisfy the group you want to do. So the idea here is we spread it across different organizations, and it helps you to make the best use of your financial resources and plan yourself better. Of course, we are very big on regulation. We have our license from the Cooperative Federation of Nigeria and CAC. So we are a regulated entity and we are registered. So what are the problems that we solve here at OfficeAjo? Lack of access to a cheap cost of capital to borrow. So if you remember when I started, I talked about how if you actually want to go receive a loan from a bank, it will take a lot of due diligence. It will take a lot of papers submitted, and to make it worse, you'll be hit with an almost impossible interest rate, which would eventually put you in probably a bigger situation. So what we do here is we offer you capital at a cheaper cost. Delay in payments. For instance, those who said yes that they've been in Ajo, you know what happens when someone in your group, for instance, doesn't pay up when he's supposed to. You who is supposed to receive suffers or bears the brunt. Here we have designed a mechanism that totally eliminates the delay in payments for you. Thirdly, lack of security measures to curb against members absconding. What happens? Somebody picks first and runs away. Just 2 days ago, a friend of mine called me, crying about how the person joined an Ajo, and the lady collected the money for this. After the first round, everybody got the second round, ran away. And I said, why didn't you sign up to OfficeAjo? And she was like, oh, now I know. I said, you see? So we help to curb against that risk of somebody absconding. We have our partners who help us to make sure of that. Thirdly, lack of insurance resulting in no plans of compensation. Back to the same example, if somebody, for instance, absconds, how are you ensured that you're going to get your money? That is well taken care of here at OfficeAjo. Your money is insured, and you will get your contributions regardless of what goes down. The second to the last is lack of robust trust measures. Of course, we are big on our security means, we are big on trust. So we have set up a security parameter that helps us to actually hold on to the financials that we have gathered. And it is limited to people with shared affinity due to trust. Normally, your Ajo, you don't really even know who is joining, except it's maybe a small group that you're close to. Other than that, you may not know who is joining. But here, that is taken care of because we have KYCs, we have the information of everybody here on who signs up on our platform. So you don't have to worry about, I don't know who is getting the money, or I don't know who is supposed to pay. All that is taken away from you. The solutions we provide, first of all, we assess the credit profiles of everyone joining. So we know if the person has a history of defaulting on loans or financial grants. Then we assess that before we choose to let you into the platform to contribute. Secondly, we verify your organization. Like the example I gave, for instance, if I work in Amazon and I want to join, of course we reach out to your organization and we say, okay, we want to present this to you, so your employees have the liberty to do this, when they want. So we verify and make sure that you actually are a part of that organization. The third thing, we ensure you, like I explained, in the case of default, in the case of death or loss of life or injury or anything critical that may actually affect the contributions, we make sure that regardless, your Ajo keeps running. And lastly, our security measure is tight. We run a 3FA, three-factor authentication security, which is as tough as it gets. So you're not just going to enter with your password to access your account. You need your password, the security question, and an OTP here at OfficeAjo. So why should you use OfficeAjo? What are some of the benefits you stand to gain from using this platform? First of all, you have a fast access to cheap capital, which we have spoken on a bit. Secondly, we have a strategic partnership with Providence Bank, where once you sign up on OfficeAjo, you instantly get a virtual Providence Bank account, which can even further be produced into an ATM card, customized ATM card for you. So once your money goes into our platform, it actually goes straight to Providence bank account, which goes to speak to security once again. It's borderless, like I explained. People across different organizations who have different goal amounts that they are trying to achieve are made possible on this platform, as opposed to probably only finding one particular amount, and that may be more than you want to do or less than you want to do. We take care of that here. Yes, one of our benefits is that we have an added interest to the last speakers. And the way we see it is, if, for instance, we're in a group of 5 and I am the first person to collect my total amount, it's more or less like I have collected a loan from the bank. But if I'm the last, which is after like 5 months, it's more or less like I've been depositing my money in the bank, and then I go to the bank to collect my money back. I shouldn't be charged. So it's more or less like you actually had the trust to put your money forward. It's like an investment. So we have an added interest to the last 3 pickers in the case of a group of 8 to 12, or the last 2 pickers in a group of 5 to 7. So that's one of the benefits we have. Fifth, we're going to speak of convenience and trust. I mean, at the comfort of your smartphone, you sign up, you do everything. You don't need to go to any bank. You don't need to run around to do anything. Just all you need to have is your phone or your laptop. It's a web platform. It's very convenient for you. And trust as well. Security measures here are very tight for you. And lastly, we ensure you, as we've explained numerous times, if anything happens, your money is safe, your money is intact. You can pull it out when you want. You can put it in when you want. What are some of the benefits it stands to employees, right? As an employee, why should I stand up to OfficeAjo? You have access to cheap capital, okay, which you've spoken to. Going to the bank to collect loans is a whole lot of process. Secondly, it saves time, increases efficiency. So you may have a lot of work to do, personal work, office work, and you now have to start running around to join an job. No. At the convenience of your smartphone, you can still remain productive at work while on an job. And then it's convenient and your trust is guaranteed. Now, as an employer of labor, which I believe many of us joining this webinar are, as a recruiter, why should I actually subscribe to this OfficeAjo? Now, I'll give you some benefits. It helps your employees to meet their financial needs. If you do a poll right now on how many people are actually satisfied by the amounts they earn at their workplace, I promise you, you're not going. I, for one, it's never enough how much you earn. It's never enough, But OfficeAjo goes to speak to the fact that your employees. Okay, there's a poll that has just come up. Please do well to fill that. It shouldn't take long at all. It's just one question, so I'll just give you 5 seconds to fill that. Do you think Ajo is a better source of financing compared to banks or loans? Let's hear what you think. Okay. So I'll just give us some time. 3, 2, 1. I believe you should have failed. Okay. So back to what we are saying, it's like, the financial needs of the employees are actually met because people are able to be satisfied. Oh, great. A lot of people subscribe to the fact that Ajo is actually a better source of financing, and I couldn't agree more. Okay. So it's a means of providing meeting the financial needs of your employees. When they're able to save, when they're able to, contribute and receive their finances ahead, it helps them to plan better. Okay. Second thing, it helps you to retain your talent. Of course, a happy employee will barely think about moving to another organization. And also the fact that an employee is also a part of an ongoing job may be a reason to want to stay back and make sure that he fulfills his financial obligations to pay up. So it could be a way to curb attrition in the workplace. And lastly, you can channel the money you would have used to satisfy employee loans and other, and such things into other investments that would generate capital for the organization. So money you would have used to say, somebody will meet you and be like, oh, okay, I need this so amount, I want to fulfill so and so need. That money is then channeled to something else because their job satisfies it. All right, so I'll be stopping here. I hope it was a great session. And before I move on to the next speaker, it's my honor to introduce, we have two amazing speakers in the house, people of great, timber and caliber, or how is it said? So I'll just do the honors of introducing them real quick. Okay. So first of all, we have a leader and a HR consultant, plus a great workplace advocate. Mr. Yemi leads unusual mind-shifting conversations. He's a business leader with 30 years multi-sector, multifunctional experience, and he currently works with clients in his role as Chief Talent Officer to drive the talent and business transformation agenda. So it's my honor to welcome Mr. Yemi Fashewu. Mr. Yemi, just say hi. We can see you in the house. Great to have you here. The second wonderful and powerful guest we have in the house, Mrs. Umashime Oguzo Dogro, holds a bachelor's degree in biochem from Uniport and an MBA from Edinburgh Napier University, Scotland. Umashime has garnered over 14 years of experience in the insurance sector, spanning international energy insurance, AIICO Insurance PLC, Law Union, and Rock PLC, and Leadway Assurance Company Limited, where she currently is. She's currently the head distribution partnerships and microinsurance at Leadway Holdings. She's an associate member of the Institute of Sales Professionals, a peer educator for UNICEF, and a member of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria. So it's my honor to welcome welcome in the house, Mrs. Umashime. You can just do well to say hi to us so we can see you.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, it's great to have you. Great to have you.
Great to have you too.
Yeah. So without further ado, we'll go into our first session with our guest speaker, and that would be Mr. Yemi Fashewu. So he will just be speaking to us on the topic, which is so much anticipated, and we'll go into that straight away. So Mr. Yemi, over to you. Thank you.
Hi. Good. Can you hear me?
Yes. We can. Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm not sure exactly why my friends have decided to put me on the spot. I am not a financial management expert in any way, right? So, but I must say that Ajo is a product that I've used for, and I'm not exaggerating, for more than 20 years. As I speak right now, I am in a community of 5 people. And we started when I was at my last, not my last place of work, before I left in 2020. And I'll mention the name of the organization, FBN Quest Merchant Bank. About 5 of us came together, and I think we had run about 2 or 3 cycles, right, before I left the organization. And when I left in 2020, guess what? I didn't stop. The 4 of them are still in the organization, and I'm still part of the Ajo community. As a matter of fact, that's the name of the group on WhatsApp. We call it Ajo community. So I have benefited from it. No doubt, I am still benefiting from it. So if you see me doing some buga in December, yeah, just know that December is the time for me to collect. So I am not, I'm not collecting water to this time. I'm collecting my job. So December is going to be a very good time. If you see me post pictures, or don't think that I have arrived or I have blown. It is because I'm enjoying the fruit of my labor, so to say. So yeah, it's been good. When I saw the current cycle, and I realized that, oh, okay, my turn to, what's the word to use, to receive from other people was December. I was like, well, that means I don't need to do anything extra. Again, from a savings perspective, at least to have some extra bucks for that December period. So it's gonna be dirty December for me, because our local, so to say. So it's been from my perspective as a user, of the product that we are talking about today. I've been a beneficiary. I'm not kidding you, and it's given me some sort of discipline, right? Because if you're not disciplined, believe me, you cannot be part of an Ajo community if you're not disciplined. That's number one. You must be disciplined in the way you spend money. You must be able to keep things that are priority. You will keep them priority. And what it allows you to do is also that free funds, right? Free funds are not going or are not channeled into frivolities, so to speak. Free funds are not channeled to frivolities. You are able to say, okay, even if I have free funds, then I can move it into savings. You may say, oh, but that savings, it doesn't yield any interest and all that. If you put it in a bank, it'll give you some interest. Number one, the reality is that the discipline that you have within an Ajo community is actually a lot more than when you put your own money in a savings account that you have access to anytime, 24 hours. You know, if something comes up, you can access it. Either you move money on your phone or you go to the bank and all that. But if you're within a community, it allows you to be more disciplined about it. So you avoid, number two is that you avoid impulsive purchases. It allows you to avoid impulsive purchases, and you are therefore committed to the community that you belong to. If it's a savings or fixed deposit, hey, you can break a fixed deposit account. Your accountability, that's what I'm looking for. Your accountability in an investment that is just sole investment, your accountability is to yourself. But when you are in a community and you are in an Ajo community, your accountability is not just to yourself, but to your fellow contributors. So it allows you to be responsible from a spending perspective, avoid impulse purchases, avoid retail therapy, avoid all of that, and then concentrate on some sort of savings. And then, like I said, it also allows you to have a sense of responsibility and be accountable because you're in a community of other people. So yes, I have been a beneficiary of it, and I think it's one credible way. It's one credible way of saving for particular things to do. Number one is also, if you ask me, a form of investment as well, right? Because the opportunity cost of you spending the money you are contributing impulsively is that at the end of a 3, 4, 5, or 12-month cycle, your investment, at least the capital, is waiting for you. And what you can do, instead of also investing in small bits, you can take that bulk sum and then invest in other vehicles that might yield financial returns. But that community allows you to have discipline, a sense of responsibility, and a sense of accountability. Sincerely, that is typically what I want to share with you guys, to say that, hey, I mean, I have been a benefit, and I'm serious. No, when I said 20 years, I'm not kidding. I've been doing Ajo years when it was 5,000 naira per person. We contribute and we pick up. Even before it was 5,000 naira. Don't let me tell you how much I'm contributing right now. Before people start thinking, maybe I am still struggling to arrive. So, I mean, but it has the amount we contribute has grown exponentially over the years. And believe me, if I didn't get the benefits out of it over the last 2 decades plus, I wouldn't have continued it till today. So, hey, it's a product I recommend because I've been a user, and I can't wait to start letting tech drive this opportunity within organizations within Nigeria and also within the African space. So that's my experience. I recommend it wholeheartedly. It's worked for me. It's working for me as I speak. Watch out for my pictures in December. You'll see me bugaing around. It's because Emilio come to collect in December. So Nana, over to you. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. An amazing session from beloved Mr. Yemi. I hope when you're bugaing in December, you remember the team of OfficeAjo.
I don't know you. You're your own.
Wow, I was able to learn so much from that session, and I'm sure a lot of us were as well. Talked about avoiding impulsive spending, the benefits of being a part of an Ajo. Talked about the accountability aspect of it. We talked about avoiding the retail therapy. And lastly, you spoke about the growth in the amount you were able to spend, of which you started from 5,000 thereabouts, and today you're doing enough money to buy a Rolls Royce and enough money to buy a mansion. Yes, so of course, you feel free to ask your questions. The chat box is open. The question and answer session is open. If you have anything you would like to find out, please. We want to make it as engaging as possible. We want to interact. We want to hear you out. So just drop a message in the chat box, and as well in the question and answer session, if it's a direct question you have for us. So thank you once again, Mr. Yemi, for such an enlightening session. Without further ado, we'll be going straight into the second speaker for today, with another very powerful and enlightening piece of speech for us, which is Miss Umashime Oguzo. So over to you, ma. You're welcome.
All right. Kindly confirm you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let me just correct the murdering that you have murdered. My name is Umashime Oguzo Dogro, but you can call me Mash. I know it's a mouthful, so I forgive you, Nana. So like, it's okay. I'm excited to be speaking today because I like to identify with good initiatives. And at Leadway, I have responsibility for distribution, partnerships, and microinsurance. And so my role avails me the opportunity to meet with a lot of web aggregators, fintechs, insurtechs, and different platforms to co-create and ideate insurance products and other products within our own value chain that would best suit their business model and also can be showcased on their platforms. So my excitement, like I said, is on a lot of fronts, but particularly the fact that OfficeAjo has taken a very bold step to digitize an age-long tradition that we call Ajo. I mean, some call it thrift, some call it contribution. And we also grew up watching our parents indulge in this very rewarding method of savings. So when we were approached by them for partnerships, I was intrigued by the idea of particularly introducing technology to this viable savings methodology. So well done to OfficeAjo. Secondly, my excitement is also to speak alongside an HR expert that I admire a lot. In fact, Mr. Yemi Fashion, you never know. Every Monday, I just go to your posts and see what you've posted because it kind of stimulates and motivates me for the week. So it's an honor to be on the same call with you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your very brilliant delivery as always, which has set the tone for this discussion. And also the fact that you are also a beneficiary of Ajo goes to prove that indeed it's a worthy, it's a worthy initiative for anyone, more so salary earners, to imbibe so that discipline that the finance, instills, that Ajo instills on us, cannot be overemphasized. And it also, like you said, enables you to conveniently plan a big spend, and work towards it. So let me now draw it home. Whilst this is possible, there's a major aspect of planning that we do not have control over, and that is if there's a sudden death of a contributor. And this is where insurance comes in. This is where Leadway comes in. So in the event of the occurrence of death or permanent disability of the policyholder, and in this case, the OfficeAjo contributor, before the complete repayment of their Ajo cycle, Leadway will come in and pay the balance of the outstanding payments without the contributor filling any void. So this type of insurance is called Credit Life Protection Plan. And so distinctively, what it covers is it covers death, it covers the death of a customer, it covers accidental, permanent, and total disability of the customer. Now, there are some other aspects of credit life that pertain to job loss, but it's mostly taken by financial institutions that require credit life for purposes of mortgage loans and other consumer kind of loans. And this hasn't been considered here. So our policy with OfficeAjo is purely to cover death and accident leading to permanent and total disablement. So the benefit to OfficeAjo contributors, and I know that there are quite a bit of prospects on this call today, is that in the event of any of these unforeseen circumstances or occurrences, you do not need to recourse to the family or your employer, for employers who are also on this call, to seek assistance to complete their Ajo cycle. Leadway steps in and sorts it out. And so I'm sure just by listening to this, you'll find it very reassuring, knowing that there'll be no stories when it's your turn to receive payments for your contribution because of this very proactive step that OfficeAjo has taken to cover their contributors. That being said, what we do not cover, however, is the absconding by any contributor. So I'm sure that OfficeAjo have measures in place to mitigate against this. And Nana also mentioned that when he was speaking and giving us the synopsis and overview about OfficeAjo, and I'm sure Shegun would also probably mention that as he comes up to speak about their product offerings and services. So as an insurance person, let me remind us that these are perilous times and we have to be circumspect, especially in taking financial decisions. As salary earners, we are often tipped, cajoled, spoken to about different types of savings arrangements and investment arrangements, and some can be very risky. So from a risk management perspective, you have to really shine your eye well, just keeping it simple before you take any financial decision. And so that being said, OfficeAjo has provided an easy way to make savings in these times. And also insurance is a great way to hedge. It offers you protection. In itself, it saves your money, and it offers you peace of mind. And also it restores hope in the event of any losses. So permit me at this point, as a salesperson, I would always speak about my organization a bit. So permit me, Nana, Shegun, and everyone on the call to speak about Leadway very briefly. I know that perhaps most of us on the call have either heard, seen, or have an idea about who we are. But for the benefit of those who don't know us, we are a 50-year plus old organization, and we offer insurance services that is general insurance. So for your vehicles, your property, insuring your gadgets, your assets generally, we offer that. We offer life insurance, which we're speaking about one of the forms of life insurance, which is the Credit Life Protection Plan. And also very recently, we started offering health insurance. So for your preventive wellness and curative care, we have plans on our health insurance side to take care of that. And so we also have a pensions arm, Leadway Pension. We have an asset management company, Leadway Asset Management. So we also have a capital and trust company, and then we have the hospitality arm as well. So what's our delight? Our reputation is hinged on excellent services with the customer in mind, and so what we do is to delight our customers by meeting their obligations, through prompt claim settlement on the insurance side. Enviable investment returns, making sure that your retirement egg nest grows within the boundaries of our economy, on the pension side. We're poised to help you sustain and grow your wealth on the asset management side. And we also step in, to assist you in estate planning and will writing. And this has been handled by our capital and trust side. And of course, when you have arrived with that Ajo savings, when it's your turn to collect, you then can check into our elegant and serene hotel called Leola Hotel in Lagos and Abuja, and enjoy the benefits therein. So that in a nutshell is a summary of our services at Leadway. And you can reach us on our social media pages, websites, and our representatives are always ever willing to assist, and take all your inquiries. So back to the business of the day. I mean, savings in the workplace using Ajo as a tool. Fantastic initiative by OfficeAjo. I appreciate all of you who have joined and kept the faith. It's a Saturday. I know that there's a lot of activities, lined up for today, but your patience also gives an indication that you are interested in either coming on board the platform or getting involved with Ajo. And this is a fantastic way to save, especially at this time. So I want to say thank you and congratulations to OfficeAjo team. And I want to assure you of our commitment as Leadway to stick with you, through partnerships as you scale up and make Ajo a household or a renowned name among salary earners. So thank you for your time. I hope you have the comfort, knowing that in the event of any losses, insurance will step in, to take care of your Ajo, so that there's no break in transmission, as it were. Thank you very much. That'll be all for me. I will take questions when the time arises. Thank you.
Wow, great session. Thank you so much, Ms. Umashime. I hope I didn't murder it this time. Is that okay?
Yes.
Umashime?
Yes, you got it.
See, I'm a fast learner.
Yes, you are.
So it was a nice session. And of course, I mean, talking about Leadway Assurance, it goes to show you how much effort OfficeAjo is putting into making sure that your finances are secured, to be able to have such a prestigious insurance company, to have a partnership with them. It just goes to show you the commitments we have taken, just to ensure that our customers are satisfied in terms of the security of their funds. All right. So before we call up our next speaker, which is our founder and a very good friend of mine, permit me to enlighten you with some of our new initiatives here at OfficeAjo. So I'll be sharing my screen just to briefly acquaint you with some of these initiatives. Just give me a second. Okay, you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? I don't know. Can anyone hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes, please. Yes.
All right. So the first one we have here is called My Rent Small Small. My Rent Small Small. So this is tailored for those who want to join an Ajo for the purpose of their rent. So it says join an Ajo group and get cash in due time. And for the sake of a promo, we'll be doing in an initiative where the first 3 to join will redeem an instant 2,000 naira in your cash wallet. So the first 3 to join my Rent Small Small in an Ajo group would instantly get 2,000. And of course, the link will be shared in the chat box. I'm sure Esther will make sure of that. The second initiative we have is looking for January school fees. So this is an initiative set up for those who are saving for the purpose of school fees, probably children's school fees. The link would also be shared on the chat box, and it says the first 2 to join would redeem an instant 1,000 cash in their wallet for the first 2 people to join. And then the last initiative I would like to talk about is saving for my new baby. So this is for those who are saving for the purpose of probably to cater for a new baby or anything similar to that. It's also a promo where we'll be doing the first 2 to join would instantly redeem 1,500 naira in your cash wallet. And of course, the 3 links will be shared in our chat box. So feel free to save the links, feel free to join in, feel free to please sign up. Of course, testing is seen, when you test it yourself, you'll be able to testify firsthand that yes, this Ajo is actually the top-notch product. So I'll just stop sharing my screen. And it's my honor and pleasure to call up the brains. I like to call him the brains behind OfficeAjo. He's a very good friend of mine. Met him at the Lagos Business School. A very great guy, I tell you. He happens to be the founder and the chief thrift officer of OfficeAjo. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me as I make welcome Shegun Thomas for his session.
And this your hype is just too much. I don't mind, Nana. We are all a team of people on this. And thank you, Wyatt. Thank you, Mash. Thank you very much. Without much ado, I would like to touch on what Mash had talked about earlier, right? And the risk involved, and then how we have been able to address this, because I'm sure for a number of people on this call, you just really want to know about that. You want to talk more about in depth about that. Let me quickly share my screen now. So before I go into how it works, I just really want to talk about the process, the risk mitigation strategy in place. So first and foremost, if you have ever gotten a loan in Nigeria today, whether the loan sharks or the banks or the microfinance, if you do not know, you have what you call a risk profile, right? So all the banks in Nigeria, they all share this database. So there is what you call the Credit Bureau Registry. There are about 3 of these organizations in Nigeria, CRC and 2 other organizations. And so they maintain a repository of everybody that has actually gotten a loan in Nigeria today. So what we primarily do is we key into this as well. So we have a partnership with one of these institutions I made mention of, which is CRC. And so we have access to seeing anyone who has actually gotten a loan in time past, how you have been servicing your loans. If you are not a fit for an Ajo, right? I mean, you have a questionable integrity, so to say. Now, that's the first point of call. But the fact is that if I've had to get a loan in time past and I've not defaulted, it does not mean that in the future I cannot default, right? Credit history or credit profiling talks about your past. What about going into the future? What measure have we put in place?
Sure, I'm sorry to interrupt. I can't really see what you're sharing. I don't know if it's just me. I can't really see the slides. It's a bit blurred.
Oh, sorry,
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, it's better now. Okay,
sorry.
It's better now.
Sorry. Okay. So like I was saying, credit bureau talks about the past, right? So even though it gives us an idea as to who you are, so there is an aspect of finance called behavioral finance, right? That's why you can have the commercial banks, which are into primary business of lending, right? They profile you before they give you loans and all of that. And that has been working for them, with a cap of about 5%, non-performing loans according to CBN on what it should be the cap rate in terms of default. So we are subscribed to this agency. So we have data of everybody that's actually gotten a loan. Like I said, if you have not gotten a loan or perhaps you've even had no clause to default in the past, doesn't mean that you won't default in the future, or does it mean that for anyone who hasn't really had the cause to get a loan, right? Obviously means that we don't have a record about you. Does it mean that this person going into the future cannot default? Of course, no. So that's the first point of call. So we get to see everybody who has had to take a loan. Now, number two is that if you look at the next step, all contributors must be a member of an organization. So you must work for an organization. How do we know this? Another thing we encourage is that we ask organizations to be onboarded so that it's even seamless for their members of staff, right? So if you have your organization onboarded and having checked your profile and then we see that you're good to go, and then you subscribe, and knowing fully well that you're a member of this organization, in the event of a default, right? If you look at our terms and conditions, it says to you that, of course, we are not like the loan sharks that typically send messages to your contact and all of that, right? No sort of things. No, that's not how we operate, right? So what we do in the event of people of questionable character is that we give you a period of time. We have a grace period, and then after which we write to your organization to say that you are indebted to us. And I'm sure you wouldn't want that, right? But that's the very last thing we have to do. That's the last resort. Write to your organization that you are indebted to us, give a profile of the loan, of the Ajo you got and all, right? And then for them to actually notify you that you should pay us. So for the organizations who are onboarded, of course, the agreement with them is that it is being taken out of the salary. Now, for the organizations who are not onboarded, of course, doesn't mean that an employee of an organization who is not onboarded cannot join. No, you can. But in the event that your organization is onboarded, it's taken out of the salary, and in the event that you do not have your organization onboarded, we write to them directly, and then that's how we recruit. The third thing is that, which Mashima has talked about, we do not have control over certain things, right? Or foreseen circumstances such as death, disability, or you are incapacitated to actually fulfill your obligations. And at that point, that's where insurance comes in, really, because it's really beyond this person. It's not a case where this person is unwilling to fulfill his obligation. But I can tell you, if you have a banker on this call, just like I said, if you understand the school of thought about behavioral finance, you know how finance works. You can tell when you go through a person's profile, you can actually tell the outcome of this person, and that's what we are strongly into, right? That's our foundation, so to say. And then the last thing here is security, because sometimes people are skeptical as to putting their information, their financial information on, platforms, online. How secure is this? Can it be compromised or not? So if you look at the system we use a bank type security system. What is obtainable with the likes of Paystack and Flutterwave and all. As a matter of fact, Flipkart is a payment gateway, so you can imagine the level of security put in place. And aside that, in the event that you even choose to withdraw your funds and all, there are a number of security measures put in place. We have a 3FA security measure, which allows you to put a password, you put your security question. So when somebody even knows your password, what's the likelihood that the person is going to know your security question? And again, transactions are being sent to your phone number, right? As against just your email. So all of these measures we have put in place to ensure that your funds are secure. So that's that. I'm sure I'll be getting questions as to this. And so let me just quickly go straight to how it works. Let me share this. Okay, so I'll play this clip now. So you see how it works. Just for the purpose of a number of us will be using our mobile phones, and that's why I'm playing this.
Thank you for joining us on this video. I'll be sharing with you how it works, how the OfficeAjo platform works.
Please, can you all hear me?
To my right-hand corner, you have.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Line icon. Just click on the icon. Go to login. I assume you've already signed up on the platform, so just go to login. Put in your login details. Now my password. Now I have access to the system. Again, on my left-hand side, you find another 3-line icon. Just click on it and then click on Join Ajo. Now you can see a pop-up, right, that says that for you to initiate an Ajo, you have to use your credit card to sign up, right? And the subsequent deductions will be made from your wallet, provided you have some funds in your wallet, or it will be taken from your bank account, right? The card which you linked your account to. And so we uncheck this, and then we can see a list of Ajos here that are yet to be filled up. Now for the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to click on this. Now I can see the details about this. I can see the goal amount, the frequency, the number of people. So I'm interested in this. Let me click on Join now. Now I can see a little questions being asked here. Now select company. I click on this. Now there are a list of organizations here that have been onboarded. If you don't have your organization here, of course you can still join an Ajo. Just click on Not Available, and then you put in the name of your organization. Yeah, so for the purpose of this, let's say Green Minds Hotel, address. Let's use this address. Now I either put in upload my statement of salary account, 6-month statement of salary account, or I link to a third-party platform called Mono, right? So just bear in mind that your statement of account needs to carry the name of your employer, and in this case you've chosen Green Minds as your employer, so the statement of account needs to read that Green Minds is actually your employer, and as such Green Minds is paying your salary. So we need to verify that for you to be confirmed or approved to join an Ajo. So just click on Choose File if you choose to upload your statement of salary account. Now I'm picking this. Day of the month, I would like to be deducted subsequently. I would like to be deducted, let's say, on the 20th of every month. Purpose of this Ajo, let's say I just want to use this for tuition, and then click on Make Contributions. Here we go. So it takes you to a payment page, pay stack, which is secured, where you have to put in your login details, your payment details, and that's it. Once you make payment, it reflects.
All right. Thank you for that. So once payment is made, it shows at the back end immediately, and then we verify, we look at all that you have filled in, right? The name of the organization, the name on the bank statement that you have uploaded or linked via a third party called Mono. And then once we verify all of this, and we also verify the most important, which you saw earlier, is you cannot, just like the typical banking sector, where you want to get a consumer loan, they tell you cannot get more than a third of your net salary. So it's the same way we operate as well. So you cannot, for instance, be earning 100,000 and you say you want to join an Ajo of 100,000. It's not possible. So we are strict on that to ensure that it's not more than a third of your earnings, and then it aligns, your organization aligns with the name on your bank statement, and then before we approve you. And once we approve you, you get a notification as well, and it gives you a turn. Now, so the beauty of this again is that, let me just, sorry, so the beauty of this again is that, so let's assume 4 of us are in a group, or just like what I said, 5, let's say 5, for instance. We've agreed, and that's what's typical or common with the offline Ajo, right? We've, before we even go into it, we said to ourselves, I'm going to take number 1, we are going to take number 2, right? Anything can happen along the way, right? That would want me to say, you know what, I want to be number 1. So the system has a swap option where you can, of course, you would have, discussed with whoever you're taking is our position, and then you just initiate a swap option, perhaps from number 4 to number 2, and the person gets a notification, and once the person approves, you automatically swap, right? So it saves you the stress of, for the typical Ajo manager, right, in the informal or the offline setting, would have to like, okay, is this person that is taking now, not you, and all of that. So it saves you all of that. It equally saves you the headache of transfer. If you've ever been an Ajo, there is always an admin, right? Somebody who is calling another person to say, oh, it's now your due, please pay. And then the one person is saying that, okay, I've sent it, yet to receive a notification, or, all sorts of charges coming out of your your account because you are an admin or an Ajo manager, right? So OfficeAjo has actually really made this so simple. You get to see on your dashboard your due date for payment. You get to see when you're picking. You get to see how much you have contributed. You get to see a number of all of these things, right? And then let me talk about a bit about because the question is, what is the need for a platform like ours, and how what our revenue model is, or our business model. So I just explained this, which is for you to sign up. This is the journey. You create an account, you log in, and then you choose your goal amount, choose your group, select your organization, add your payment details, and then it is automatically recurring on a monthly basis. And then you provide your KYC, and then your funds on your due date is being transferred to your wallet, which you can actually transfer to your account. So the next thing here is, what's our model, our business model here? Now, for the payout on every Ajo, right, for every person who is going into an Ajo, everybody who is collecting, we do 5% on this, right? And this 5% really includes a lot of things, right? The API costs, right? Because every other thing you see here on the platform is automated, right from your assessing your credit profile down to your BVN, your NIN, all the things that has to do with your KYC, which is automated, down to your insurance that we provide for you in the event that anything happens with you, and and that's it. So this is our typical business model. So for now, our contributions are limited to just 5% for now. Now, why we have done that is simple. We are also building our own credit profile. Remember that we are relying on CRC, right, to feed us with data about you or whoever is coming on the system. Now, we are also trying to build our own, right, as you come on the platform, and then as you perform in the course of your Ajo, right, that's some sort of data as well, right? And that says to us that, okay, this person who is currently in a group of 5 and a maximum of 50,000 naira Ajo, let's advance this person to 100,000. Let's advance this person to 150,000, right? We won't just do that without also having some sort of data to make decision. So we are equally building our own credit system that will allow us, begin to elevate contributors from one group to another. So currently, the Ajo is actually limited to 5%, and it's also a maximum of 50,000 naira. So like Nana has talked about, these are our partners. Leadway and Mashima just talked about the Providence Bank. So you might want to know where the funds are seated. The funds are seated with Providence Bank. So when you sign up on the platform, right, you have a Providence Bank wallet, and then this provides you with a virtual account. So you have a virtual account where you, just like your GT Bank stars 3737, you can actually do that with your virtual account on Providence Bank, and then you walk into Providence Bank with your virtual account on OfficeAjo to withdraw your funds and all. So Paystack helps us get the funds, right? So at the point where you're trying to join an Ajo, there is that collection mechanism. That is what Paystack provides for us. And Mono provides an alternative to uploading your statement of account, right? It's a seamless platform where in 20 seconds you can key into your bank account. So it's just like the same way you are using your mobile phone to, access your bank app, and then it's just the same way, it gives you the same dashboard, the same view and all. And then verifying helps us to do a lot of verification about you, verify your address, verify your credit profile, verify your BVN and all. So that's it pretty much. Thank you. I don't want to take too much. I know there are questions already waiting for us. So over to you, Nana. Thank you so much.
Very enlightening indeed. Thank you so much, Mr. Sheku. I'm sure that has thrown light to a lot of dark areas some people may have had questions about. Okay, so if you put your eyes on the chat box, you see we've dropped our social media handles. So please do well to follow, do well to comment on our posts, do well to like, and also do well to share so that the word goes around of the good we do here in helping people to build discipline and to build a savings culture for employees. All right, so the final bit of the section, of course, you would agree with me that it's been very enlightening and very interesting as well. So the final bit of the session before we call it a day is the question and answer segment. Okay, so I think we have a few questions already waiting for us in the Q&A box. And I would go ahead to read out the questions and probably call up Shegun to throw more light on these questions as well. So the first question we had, and of course, keep the questions coming. If you have questions, do well to put them here. Also keep your eyes on the chat box. Esther is sharing some links that will be very beneficial for everyone who's joining. Okay, so I think someone has a hand up. Okay, let's take a question. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Positive.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
What I want to ask is that you mentioned a bank statement. For someone to release bank statement for the purpose of OfficeAjo, I think that's a little bit scary, irrespective of how secure your platform is, because it's not everybody. I think bank statement is like a private something. It's not everywhere that will enjoy sharing its privacy, especially when it comes to financial matters. So I'm calling from Asaba, Delta State, and I'm in the public service. In our cooperatives here, there's what we call our pay slips that shows detail of your salary, allowances, and the gross that you collect. And in the pay slip, our respective banks are clearly indicated with the bank numbers. Can that not suffice for the bank statement for those who are wary or would not like to share financial privacy? Thank you.
All right, Shegun, can you help us?
All right, thank you for that. I'm sure first and foremost, a number of people. So what we're asking for is a salary account. And again, the reason for this is we need to be sure that the contribution you want to go into, you can actually afford to go into this contribution. And that's why we're not just, I know some people mention different accounts. We are not interested in, having to see people's financial statement. We're only interested in seeing that line item that says that Ministry of Health, Federal Republic of Nigeria, that's where you work. Because of course, if you work there, we get to see that they pay you on monthly basis. It's paying your salary on monthly basis. So we're interested in just your salary account, not just any account. And the reason why we are interested in that is to know if you are actually, working with this organization, even though you stated there in the form that this is where you work, and as well as how much you earn, and then we see that truly you can afford this. So it's for security purpose of other contributors too, and that is why we are doing this. Yes, we know that it's a kind of privacy, but I can tell you we are so big on data protection. We're very big on that. You typically, even if you're going to the embassy today, you do the same thing, right? The embassy will ask that you put in your statement of account. So for us, we are not even interested in any other statement. We are just interested in your salary statement. And then I just talked about why we need it. I don't know if that answers the question. If not, please, you can, simplify. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. If I may throw more like the pay slip I'm talking about, you have your gross pay. There's, you know, in the salary, there may be 1 or 2 deductions, maybe cooperative, maybe tax, maybe housing, and maybe you belong to one association or club or the other that you pay your monthly due to. So when it shows you your gross pay, after these deductions have been effected, in the pay slip, you also have a provision for your net pay to show the balanced cash that comes to you at the end of every month. So maybe what you really want to see in the bank statement, the pay slip, like in Delta State, already has already made that known or bare to anybody that wants to see it. I agree. You said if you go to the embassy, you have to drop your bank statement. But you know, going to the embassy is a different ball game altogether. So let me stop at this point first. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Akoma. Thank you so much for your question. Okay.
All right, so thank you for that, Shegu and Ufoma, very enlightening. So we'll go straight to the question and answer box. First of all, Kem Delims is asking, before it gets to my turn and 1 or 2 that have collected absconded, how will I get paid when it's my turn? I think Shegu has already addressed this, but Shegu, do you want to just quickly say?
All right, I think it's simple. So we typically operate like the banks, but of course our model is quite different, right? So we have what we call buffer fund, just like the banks have what you call liquidity, ratio, reserve, cash reserve ratio, right? Where a certain amount of your deposit is being reserved in the event that anything goes wrong. So we operate the same way, right? And so if anything goes wrong, it's not your own business it's our own edict to ensure that whoever is defaulting, we get the funds. But for you, who is a contributor, you are rest assured that when it comes to your time to pick, there will be no issues. And that's why we also put in all of this security measure as an organization for us to ensure that our funds are collected as and when due. So we don't have issues of, when it's your turn and somebody's absconding. No, we don't. We have a buffer fund for all of those things.
All right. Thank you, Nkem Dilim. I hope that satisfies. If it doesn't, still signify. We go into the second question from Uche. I don't want to bother anyone, so I think I'll just stop at Uche. So Uche is asking, what happens when an employee loses his job, which I'm pretty sure we have actually dealt with. But just for the sake of clarity, Shego, can you just quickly reiterate what happens when an employee loses their job?
Okay, so for now, like Imashima has rightly said, the insurance cover doesn't cover job loss as of this moment, right? Perhaps over time, we might include that. We're also trying to just understand people. We know people can be very funny at times. So to your question, a direct answer to that is we do not have a job loss cover at the moment. And we know that things of this nature will happen. And then and that is why we are putting some other measures in place just to ensure that when such things happen, the other person is not affected at all, and then we can always deal with your own case on a need basis.
Okay, Mashme has her hand up, so I think she wants to add to that. So please, you have the floor, ma'am.
Yeah, just to add, so like I said, we're in partnership with OfficeAjo, and we're growing together. So as their profile increases, their clientele base also increases. We see that, there's need, and then perhaps they also have some engagements with companies directly and on board many more employees within the buckets. So company B2B to C, as it were, we would consider adding job loss to the package. Thank you.
All right, great. So guys, you can see that we need you to actually get that from Leadway. The more we grow, the more we gain traction and have verifiable growth in the organization, that Leadway have told us through her now that we covered that for us. Okay, but in the absence of that, we still have means where we go ahead to still handle that which Shego has just explained. So also, if I hope he answers your question. If it doesn't, still notify us. We'll go into the next 4 questions, which are from the same person. Firstly, Precious asks, can users save in foreign currency to prevent currency devaluation like we have in Nigeria today? Also, this will be additional competitive tool vis-a-vis other platforms today. So that comes as a question and as a suggestion. Shego, do you want to speak to that?
Yes. So for now, because we are big on regulation, for now, no, we are just doing local currency. We are doing local currency. That's what our license, our partnership with our partners allows us to. So not at of this moment.
All right, thank you. Next question from Same Precious. I need clarity on the 5% charges fee. Is it on the total amount receivable by the user or on the monthly contribution the user makes in one-off basis or monthly? Sure.
Yes, on the payout, what the user gets at the end of the day. So it's not on your contribution. So if, for instance, it's an Ajo for 5 persons, 100,000 each, it's your turn to pick, right? Which is 500,000. So we're taking 5% of that, which is 50,000 naira.
Great. On to the next one. Same person asks, have you also considered going to NYSC to catch them young? Again, a useful suggestion. Do you want to speak to that?
Yes, over time, yes, these are the things we will roll out, initiative just to further create awareness, amongst the younger generation. Yes, we will. Thank you.
All right. Next question, same person. Can users from different organizations network on the platform? At this point, Precious, we may have to reach out to you to be a part of the team because you have so many powerful ideas that we are most grateful for. Okay, so I can answer this one that right now you may not be able to network directly, probably for privacy purpose and all that. But as we grow, we're just a a baby startup. So as we grow and gain more users, gain more following, possibly would be a consideration for us to also create a platform to network with these members of different organizations. Shall we want to add to that?
Yeah, I think you said it all. That's it. For privacy purposes, really, you cannot just have you to network with other persons, really. So for now, we are not encouraging that. That's data breach.
So the final question I can see here, unless more come after now, same person, Precious, it says, how is the sequence of who takes when be done? I think it's a very useful question. Shego, do you want to speak to that? How is the sequencing done?
The sequencing is on first come, first serve basis. So I mean, we are all in different locations. We are all 4 of us are actually interested in a particular Ajo, right? And I choose to come and put in my details and I sign up. Automatically, I'm assigned the first slot. The second person, same thing to the very last person. However, like I said, even though you don't know who this person is, right? But you are being bound together by a common thing. You are in an Ajo. You can send a swap request that you want to take a position. If the person allows you, all well and good, you take the first position and the person takes whatever position that you have. So that's how it works. So it's on first come, first serve basis. Nobody even knows anyone. The system that does all of that.
Great, thank you, Precious. Thank you, Shego. So, like you said, first come, first serve, and there's also a swap feature if there's a spot you really want. The last question I can see here, but it's on the chat box from Philip Subandi, is asking: is there any return on the amounts contributed? Is there any return? I'm not so sure I understand that, but Shego, I'll leave that to you to answer that question.
All right,
is there any return?
How the Ajo scheme works is that again, 5 of us are coming together, and then we all decide to say we are going to contribution. Remember that at this point, we are contributing right this moment, or perhaps let's say the next day, the first person picks. So you don't really have that leeway, that period of time to say, I'm investing this, and as such, I'm getting returns. So it's not an investment, so to say. It's more or less like an alternative source of, financing or loan, so to say. So that's what it is. So if it were to be an investment, yes, of course, we know that you want to have returns on your investment, but it is not. So as we are collecting this, we are giving to the next person. We are collecting, we are giving to the next person. We are just an aggregator.
Great. So someone made a comment. Uche is asking, so if I get his explanation to my question, is that as soon as an enrollee loses their job, you terminate and pay them off? So he's asking, is that the mechanism you have when someone loses the job? Do you terminate and pay them off?
No, not at all. Just like what I've said earlier, he left an organization, but he's still a part of it, right? So it becomes an issue where you are unable to meet up with your organization, your obligation. And that's when we now look at it to say, okay, why have we not been able to? And then we make our own findings to realize that, okay, truly this person lost his job or her job, and this person doesn't have what it takes to meet up. So, however, like I reiterated, it doesn't affect the next person who is meant to pick his or her own contribution, because we know this would happen, and then we have buffer funds. I hope I'm able to answer that.
Okay, someone else drops a question in the chat box. So what advantage does this have over disciplined savings in banks? That's a good question. What advantage does the Ajo have over disciplined savings in banks?
Okay, so the advantage is simple. Today, if you put $1 million in the bank, I bet you 6 months down the line, you won't have $1 million anymore. Why? You have all sorts of charges, ATM, SMS, this, that, also. At the end of the day, I'm sure in your account you would have about probably 900 and something thousand, right? But with an Ajo, there is nothing like all sorts of charges taken out. As a matter of fact, the reverse is the case. Even though, like I said, we are pegged it currently at 5%, but at the end of the day, the goal is 12%, right? So 12% meaning that 12 months. So for the last set of people to pick an Ajo, we are giving you an interest, because at that time it's more of so the question is this: the first set of people to pick in an Ajo are the major beneficiary. If you happen to be the last person to pick, let's say in a group of 12, I mean, it's really not of so much business sense to you, because it's as good as just keeping these funds in your bank. Like I said, even though you're going to get all sorts of debit. But for an OfficeAjo, we are equally giving you 2%, 1% and 0.5% for the last 3 persons to pick in a group of 12, right? And the reason is simple: you are helping others achieve their goals. And then for doing that, we are compensating you for this. So that's a major difference. The banks will put all sorts of charges on your funds, and you don't have the exact fund. But on OfficeAjo, it's entirely different. You're not having 1 naira of any deduction whatsoever.
All right, thank you, Shegun. A robust answer to that question. Also, thank you, Philip, for the question. We have a final one here from Former. For the sake of time, of course, I'm sure everyone here made a sacrifice to be here and will have other things they want to do. So Former says, I need clarity on the minimum and maximum amount to contribute, please. So
all right. So the maximum amount to contribute for now is expect at 50,000 right now. And then the minimum amount to do right now is spec at 5,000 minimum. The drivers, the cleaners, and whatever who are working in different organizations can also be part of this. So over time, we will increase this. Our arrangement or partnership with Leadway suggests that we can have as high as 10 million naira contribution. But like I said, it's a gradual thing. We're equally building our own credit system. And over time, when we see that you qualify for this, you advance. And so that's how it is. Thank you. I hope that is that answers the question.
Great. I think this brings us to the end of such an insightful, such a robust and exciting session titled Saving in the Workplace, hosted by OfficeAjo in collaboration with Leadway Assurance. At this point, we'd like to appreciate every single person who made that sacrifice to spend some time here with us to be enlightened on this topic. We are really grateful for your time, and we hope that it has been very profitable. We hope that you have gained in terms of understanding and also in terms of confidence to proceed to go ahead and invest in us or to be a part of the platform. by trusting us to make your financial discipline better. So I just want to appreciate our guest speakers once again. Mr. Yemi, he's always a friend of the house. He's always there for us whenever we need him. And our dear friend Marsh as well, who is a great person to us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making out the time to spend with us and enlighten us and our customers. Thank you, Shegun, and the team of OfficeAjo, Esther as well, for all he's done in terms of following up with questions and making sure everyone is attended to. At this point, this is just me taking the vote of thanks. Thank you, and please remember to follow and reach out to us via our social media handles. Also, our email at contact@officeajo.com. Esther, if you want to share that in the chat box. Any inquiries, any questions, drop it in, mail us or reach out to us on our social media platforms. I promise you, we are quick to attend to such. The link of this video will be shared to everyone in the mail and also will be available via our YouTube channel. This session was also live broadcast on our Facebook channel. So anyone who is connected from Facebook will also have been a part of the session as well. Thank you once again, and do have an amazing weekend. From OfficeAjo, thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Bye.